Okay, for atmosphere and environment, let's do a recap. There's two main parts of it. The first part is talking about composition of clean, dry air. So if the atmosphere is made up of clean, dry air, what would be in this dry air would be 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and the remaining 1% is made up of noble gas, mostly of it is argon, as well as carbon dioxide, and finally some water vapor. So this is if the air is clean and dry. Okay, however, a lot of times the air around us is not clean and dry, which leads us to the second part where it talks about the air pollutants in the atmosphere. Okay, and there are many air pollutants. If you can refer to your book, your reference book as well, to see the other pollutants, there are many there. But for the sake of the worksheets, we will focus only on 3 common pollutants, and we'll talk about the name, the source, and the effect. So this is the main things that you need to know of pollutants. So for the first air pollutant, it's called carbon monoxide. Okay, it's different from carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is what we breathe out. It is not a pollutant. It is in air, but it's not a pollutant. Carbon monoxide is a pollutant because it is poisonous. And where does this carbon monoxide comes from? It comes mainly from incomplete combustion of your carbon-containing fuel, which you learn in your alkanes as well, or your petrol in car engine. Okay, so any fuel that they burn that contains carbon, or in your car engine where there is petrol, as long as it burns incompletely, carbon monoxide will be formed. And because it forms in the car engine, it is also given out by the car exhaust. Okay, in the same way, if incomplete combustion of fuel, not just carbon monoxide is formed, but if you recall, carbon in the form of soot is also formed, as well as water. This is just extra information. And what is the effect of this carbon monoxide? Why is it poisonous? It's because it binds to hemoglobin, which is in your red blood cell, in blood, and it forms a stable compound. So once the stable compound is formed, it prevents the oxygen from being carried from your lungs to the rest of the body, which is why eventually it causes death. So you need to be able to explain the effect clearly. The next common pollutant is oxides of nitrogen. What are the name of the gases under oxides of nitrogen? It's 2 gases. One of it is nitrogen monoxide, and the other is nitrogen dioxide. Okay, and where is the source? Where do we get this nitrogen monoxide or dioxide from? It comes from high temperatures in car engine as well, which means it's also given out by car exhaust. Okay, or high temperatures in factories. So it could also be given out by in factories where there is a high temperature. Okay, reason for the high temperature is, for example, in the second one, lightning. So in the air, there's already nitrogen gas. So when there's high temperature, this nitrogen gas will react with the oxygen gas in the air to form this following. Okay, so when there's a lightning during a thunderstorm, this is considered a natural source. So every time there is a lightning during the thunderstorm, the nitrogen in the air will react with the oxygen in the air to form these 2 pollutants. Okay, next common pollutant is sulfur dioxide. So sulfur dioxide has 2 possible sources. One of it is any form of burning, where you burn any fossil fuel that contains sulfur. So fossil fuel can also be known as coal or crude oil, petroleum, any of these that has sulfur. Okay, or the other one that's also a natural source is when there is volcanic eruptions. Okay, so that is a natural source. So what is the effect of this nitrogen monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, as well as sulfur dioxide? The effect is that as these gases are acidic gases, they dissolve in water to form acid rain, and this corrodes your buildings, it harms your aquatic life and plants. Okay, so this is the main idea of atmosphere and environment. A lot of memory work. So let's look at worksheet 1. Okay, so worksheet 1 says this. In which list are the major components placed in order of increasing abundance? So first you have to understand the word increasing abundance. It means less to more. And talking about the major components of atmosphere, meaning we're talking about air. Okay, so if we look at air, less to more, we'll start from noble gas to oxygen to nitrogen. So we look at it, this will be the C will be the answer because it starts from noble gas, which is 1%, to oxygen, which is 21%, and to nitrogen, which is 78%. So the answer would be C. Okay, so C is the answer. Okay, next question 2. Carbon monoxide is a pollutant emitted from car exhaust. Which of the properties makes it harmful to human? So you look at carbon monoxide, the main idea that why is it harmful to human is because of this effect. Okay, so let's look at the question. Carbon monoxide has no color, taste, or smell. This is true, but it's not because of the color, the taste, or the smell that makes it harmful. Okay, so though it's true, this is not what makes it harmful. Okay, corrosive action on lung tissue, this is not true. Forms a stable compound with blood, yes, this is true, and this is what makes it harmful. Okay, does it combine oxygen in the lungs? No, it doesn't. It combines with hemoglobin. So this is not true. Okay, so this is not true, this is not true. This is true, but this is not harmful. This is not what makes it harmful. Okay, so the answer is C. Okay, next. Which gas is not produced when hydrocarbons are burnt in internal combustion engine? Okay, so talking about hydrocarbons burning in internal combustion. So when we talk about combustion, we are always getting either carbon dioxide and water, or we are getting carbon monoxide and some carbon as well as water. Okay, so let's take a look at the questions. Okay, so carbon dioxide, yes, it can be produced. So this can be produced. Carbon monoxide, yes, it can be produced. Hydrogen, no, doesn't seem to be produced here, right? It's water that is produced. So C is not produced. So answer is C. And we can check on nitrogen oxides. Though it's not stated here, but if you look at nitrogen oxides, our source is car engine. Okay, so it's possible. So this is possible to be produced. So your answer would be C. Okay, next one. Which pair of gases are common pollutants of the atmosphere? Carbon dioxide is not a pollutant. Ammonia is not a pollutant. Carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide, yes, they are pollutants. Okay, carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide, they are my pollutants. So answer is B. Okay, hydrogen, not a pollutant. Chlorine is not a common pollutant, but chlorine is considered a pollutant as well. Nitrogen dioxide is a pollutant, but argon is not a pollutant. So answer is B. Okay, so all those in red are pollutants. All those in blue are not pollutants. So the only answer is B. Okay, next page for this one, question 5. So it talks about phosphorus. Okay, you read all the question. So we write down the key points. Okay, phosphorus will react with one of the gases in air, forming an oxide. So the gases in air are what? So we look at air, which is here. These are the gases in air. Okay, and one of these gases here will form an oxide. When you see the word oxide, you must recognize that it means oxygen must be involved in the reaction. So definitely, if they're asking you in part A, name the gas contained in air that reacts with phosphorus, the gas must be your oxygen gas. So definitely it's oxygen gas. Now they're asking you approximately how far up the tube will rise, the water rise. So this is my water. My tube is air. So you see from here all the way to here, which is 100 cm, this is my air. So if 21% of my air is oxygen, that means the oxygen in 100 cm is 21 cm. So in this 100 cm, 21 cm of it is oxygen. So what happens is my 21 cm estimation, this 21 cm of oxygen here will be used up. So the water will then go in. Okay, so how far up the tube will the water rise? It will rise 21 cm. Okay, then the next question says, name 2 gases that are left in the tube after a few days. So gases that are left, if oxygen is being used up, so if oxygen is being used up, we are left with definitely nitrogen and perhaps argon, or nitrogen and carbon dioxide. Okay, we do not say noble gas because they ask you to name. So the key word here is the word name. Okay, so you can name any of this. Okay, for the next question, carbon monoxide is a pollutant gas produced in motor car engines. Explain why carbon monoxide is formed in car engines. So they want you to explain why. So first of all, carbon monoxide is only formed when there is incomplete combustion. And the reason why there is incomplete combustion is because of an insufficient supply of oxygen. So we state that first. So this is what would be good to write down. So in the car engine, there is an insufficient supply of oxygen. Therefore, incomplete combustion of petrol. Usually in car engine is petrol. So we state clearly petrol, fuel. The car engine produces carbon monoxide. Okay, and finally, name 3 polluting gases other than carbon dioxide that are given out. Carbon dioxide is not considered a pollutant. So they're asking you what other gases that are pollutants are given out by car exhaust. So whatever comes out from the car exhaust comes from the car engine. So we look at it, car engine, which is also car exhaust, So we have our carbon monoxide, we have our nitrogen monoxide, and we have our nitrogen dioxide. So we stick to these 3 gases. Okay, these 2 are considered different gas. So we write this out individually. And it's the name. So because it's the word name, so again, same thing, because it's name, we cannot say oxides of nitrogen. We have to name the gases. So it will be carbon monoxide, nitrogen monoxide, and nitrogen dioxide.